their emergency.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting Goods. Your adventure starts here.
Looking for the best gun gear for every and any situation? Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul's, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient. Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more. Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
for pre-trip maintenance, plus essentials like emergency roadside kits, tire inflators, jumper cables, boost jump starters, tool sets, and a whole lot more. So hit the highways or take the roads less traveled with confidence. Shop SummitRacing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends May 25th, 2025. SummitRacing.com. Let's build it together.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
For a limited time, you can get up to $80 in MasterCard virtual reward cards when you buy Shell Rotella. If your tractor heard this deal this morning, it would say,
I'm soaking out here in Minnesota. You take the virtual reward cards. I'll take the Rotella. I need its moisture resistance to guard against corrosion and damp conditions.
Shell Rotella. Different drives us. Offer ends May 31st, 2025. Terms apply. See rotella.com/rewards for details. Card is issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, pursuant to license by MasterCard. MasterCard is a registered trademark, and the Circle's design is a trademark of MasterCard International Incorporated.
Hey, Fire at 816, Guns in the 701. Good morning, Clay. How are you?
Good morning, Todd. Doing great. I mean, we had like 5.5 inches of rain out of this deal, so.
I was just about to ask you if you had plenty. I was just about to ask if you had plenty of rain out your way, because I know we had 1.28 yesterday, which broke a record, and we're now above normal for the year, which that hasn't been the case all year.
I'm not sure if we broke a record. I bet money we're ahead of everything for the year, because we don't generally get 5 to 6 inches all summer. So.
No, out there in the desert.
Yeah, I mean, we had 3 inches here through that last storm, that last system that come through. So, and then we had a little snow in between there. We're okay here. As soon as that sunshine hits and warms up, things are going to be looking good in this area, I think.
Done with snow for a while, I hope, right?
I hope so. I'll take moisture however we get it, but I sure prefer the wet kind rather than the frozen kind.
Yeah. It's May 16th, for crying out loud. Enough with the snow already, but there we go. There we go.
I know one thing. I won't be getting my alfalfa put down. I had the fields worked, and then this stuff hit, but that's okay. It'll still grow. I'm not worried about it.
There we go. So, two under kind of one umbrella, fair access to banking, and then Bank of America. Why aren't they being fair? Speaking of fair banking.
Well, yeah, and I give you that other article because that happened in 2021, and we kind of exposed that right here on Mitchell in the Morning back when that was kind of happening, because it was ongoing under the Biden and Obama administrations, where Bank of America was actually going after people who sold guns or sold ammunition or manufactured them. I mean, they were turning records over to the Department of Justice at that time, letting them people know that, hey, these people made purchases here and here and here and on this and on that, which is completely illegal without notification given to the customer. And they've had an anti-gun stance for years. They were not funding any kind of Ruger, if I remember, I think it was Ruger at the time, said that the Bank of America was not going to do any of their banking for them. I believe it was Ruger at that time. I'd have to look it up again. I know there was a gun company that basically said, yep, we're not going to do any of your banking services. And that was what was happening. And that's what led to this. And kudos to Senator Kevin Cramer. Kevin's doing a great job on that. And he teamed up with U.S. Representative Andy Barr. And they come up with a fair banking, or what's called Fair Access to Banking Act. That's Senate Bill 401 in the Senate and House Resolution 987, if anybody wants to look at it. National Sporting Shoots Foundation is backing this thing 100%. Essentially what it's going to do is say, listen, you guys are FDIC insured. By the way, Bank of America is not owned by any place in America, just so everybody knows. I believe it's a British company that owns them, but go figure, right? It's the first time we've seen stuff like that. Anyway, they came in and Senator Cramer said, we're going to get this. It's going to be a priority. It's one of Trump's priorities as well, because he knew what was going on. He actually called out Bank of America by name and said, what are you guys doing here? Why are you doing this? And then they take FDIC insurance and they're kind of taxpayer funded and backed, it makes sense that they shouldn't be using any kind of a biased litmus test and saying, oh, you're a company that manufactures and sells a legal product, that being firearms. It's the Second Amendment, 27 words enshrined in our Constitution, yet you guys don't want to fund anything like that. And that's discrimination. The left always likes to talk about that. Well, it's discrimination against a business practice, a legal business practice. And if you can't do business, if you can't do banking, you're probably going to go belly up, right? So I think this is a good thing. Usually I would say, no, I don't want government involvement. But on this deal right here, and these banks get so bad, and let's face it, the big ones, they control it all. You have to have some kind of protections to do legal, lawful business. And that's what this is all about. So I'm glad to see it.
And then we found out that FDIC didn't exactly cover everything that we thought it did, or even a fraction of. I mean, a couple of little banks go and it drains the piggy bank. I mean, what's the problem here?
Yeah, we saw that here a couple of years ago, and FDIC is just, it's I guess a safety net, but it's a small one, and I wouldn't count on that. I always encourage everybody. I have, of course, like any of us, we have to have a bank account. You have to have that to even function anymore. And you can take a ton of cash, I guess, and keep it in your house. Some places won't even take cash anymore. But if anything happened and you don't have a nice big safe to protect it, then you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, what's with people that put it in their mattress? What if the house burns down? Then the cash burns up.
That's right. It's still paper. It still burns. And I don't think anyone's that rich they want to light $100 bills on fire. So.
Speak for yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And by the way,
couldn't say that with a straight face, could I? No.
It's not just Bank of America. It's Citigroup, Wells Fargo, J.P. Morgan, any of them big corporate ones. And interestingly, when I worked think about this. When I worked for the NRA, which is going on over 10 years ago now, we had, it was probably 2 or 3 years before I retired from NRA, they switched over to use Wells Fargo. And Wells Fargo at that time already had anti-gun policy. And I raised a lot of stuff about that. And they still kept using them. Like, there's got to be better banks out there that want to do business with you. And I don't know if they ever changed it or not. I'm not there anymore, but I couldn't believe we were using it. At that time, one of the bigger anti-gun corporate banks in America, which was Wells Fargo. And maybe they had no other choice. I don't know. I never got an answer before I left. So.
I'm going to open a new bank, and I'm going to corner the market in western North Dakota. You know what I'm going to call it?
There you go. What's that?
Wells Bismarck.
Wells Bismarck. Perfect. Get her done, Todd. There's one that opened up down in Oklahoma. I know, Big and Rich, get his first name there, but Rich, he basically helped set that baby up, and supposedly it's doing good. I forget what they even call it, but I think it's called Old Glory Bank or something. So there are banks that have opened up now that have more of a free market attitude and embrace what the United States is about, and it's good to see. I'm not a big fan of a big box anything.
Well, and we do have a number of the smaller categories as far as the bigger picture of banks go throughout Bismarck Mandan. So I mean, we've got a bunch of those and don't have as many of the Huntingtons of the world and all that are busy gobbling up stuff all over the country. And my mother did nothing but complain about Huntington when they took over TCF. And
well, we even got an account there at Dakota Federal up there. I think it was Dakota Community, and that's more of a regionalized. You see those in the smaller towns, and they're probably pretty good that way. But yeah, do your banking where you want. But
I just put in a coffee can out in the backyard, and that's just kidding. Just kidding. It's Clay and Guns in the 701. K-Fire 8.
I recommend getting some gold and silver, though. I would highly recommend.
Well, there you go.
Backup.
And I know a guy, David Fisher. He'll be able to talk to you about that. Another proud sponsor here of Mitchell in the Morning. Weave them all in.
Right?
Yeah, there you go. There you have it. So we're going to crank the heat up on the rhinos, huh?
Well, that's what they're calling for it. And if no one's been paying attention, I know I couldn't do the show Wednesday night with Jamie, so he had Leon on, and they talked a little bit about this. But we have the big, beautiful bill going through, right, in the House. And at the same time, we've had the Hearing Protection Act and the National Reciprocity Act, things like that. Well, you'd think that with a majority, and I know it's a slim majority in the House and a slim majority in the Senate, that after the election in November that put all these people in charge, you'd think they'd be with us. Well, it's not seeming that way. You've taken the thing with the suppressor, which was the Hearing Protection Act, which would have taken the suppressors off of the NFA, which is the National Firearms Act, and pulled it out of there. And it's interesting in the court systems that, on one hand, the court says, yep, suppressors are a firearm, but yet in another instance they say, no, it's not. Well, the National Firearms Act says that they are. That's what happened in 1934. They lumped it all in, and suppressors got included. It was a $200 tax stamp, which at the time was an astronomical amount in 1934, not so much today. We've been wanting that removed. We want them pulled out. It's another accessory. It's a piece of metal. Without a firearm, it's just a piece of metal. I mean, there's a hole through it in all reality. But then you got judges that say, oh, no, it's not a firearm, so therefore the ATF or Department of Justice can regulate it that way. Well, which way is it? Either it is or it isn't. And there needs to be clarity on it. It's pretty simple, really. And yes, it takes a congressional act to remove it, but there are things can be done. Well, now it's hung up in Congress. They've diluted it now to be essentially there's someone talking about a $5 fee rather than zeroing it out, which is absurd in itself. I don't know who's really behind that. Some people are saying that Silencer Central is behind it. I'm not going to say they are because I've got no proof. They did have a lobbyist file the paperwork last year. It had to do with some lobbying efforts. Essentially, kind of, it's a gray wording. So I don't know which side they came down on. And as I said, I'm not making any accusations. I know it's going out there. Everybody's jumping on the backs of Silencer Central about this. But let's let them get this clarified and let them tell the story, because there is a public records filing of lobbying with a firm in D.C. last year. So I don't know where it's going to end up at. But the Republicans have control. They can do this. They can fix this. They are the ones that need to pass this legislation. And it's pretty easy. They're putting it in the big reconciliation bill. And dilute it down like that, yeah, it's a little bitty victory, I guess. I want to see it completely removed. But maybe the forces, maybe they can't get it through the Senate. I don't know. There's always a lot of things that go into this, and I'm sure you talk with Michael Bell about this. He'll reaffirm as a lobbyist that there's a lot of levers that are pulled when you're trying to do something. And you might have to take what you can get. We had to do that many times on reciprocity within the states. It took us several years to get that passed in South Dakota and in North Dakota. So, guys, hold in there. Don't get too upset, but do encourage your reps in North Dakota and South Dakota and your senators to back getting suppressors removed. That's the only way this happens, is if you take the initiative.
So a gun is a piece of metal with a hole in it?
Well, according to the National Firearms Act, it was.
Have you tried that with TSA just to see if?
Yeah, it's all, yeah. Which way you go? Is it or isn't it? Some judges say it is.
This isn't a gun. This is a piece of metal with a hole in each end of it. Don't worry about it.
Yep, they put a serial number on it, and you have to do a background check, pay $200, get your fingerprints. So, yeah, it's a really, really dangerous piece of metal, I guess.
Don't even start me on the cane to Abel and rock thing.
Yes, there you go. Rocks are fine. Take them anywhere you like.
Why does this rock have a serial number on it? Well, it's been known to kill. 829, it's Clay and Guns in the 701. More on the way.
It's Mitchell in the morning. K-Fire 550.
Soybeans surging yet, nearly matching 2018 trade war levels in tariffs, and what the big beautiful bill might mean. Todd Mitchell pinch hitting on the Dakota Farm and Ranch Report.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome. Equal housing lender.
K-Fire.
United State and volunteer partners are promoting sustainable soil practices. 50 pounds of red clover seeds were planted along the former Eric Ramstead Middle School using no-till methods. Volunteers say the plant was chosen for its cultural and environmental significance in the state. The project also aims to use the 12-acre space to reintroduce indigenous curriculum into classrooms. This winter, a key topic among cow-calf producers was interpreting genetic data for bull selection. Two common concerns: how to prioritize traits amid overwhelming EPD data, and how genomics influence EPDs and decisions. While genetic data is valuable, traditional evaluation still matters. Bulls must be structurally sound with proper feet, leg set, scrotal size, and muscle shape. Visual appraisal remains essential, especially to avoid over-conditioned bulls. Beyond appearance, genetic priorities vary by operation. For instance, feeder calf producers may emphasize growth EPDs, while seed stock producers may focus on maternal traits. Balanced selection is often ideal. Genomic enhanced EPDs improve accuracy. Research by Dr. Charles Martinez' team at the University of Tennessee found that buyers often face data overload and rely mostly on visual appraisal, followed by traditional EPDs. GE EPDs were underutilized, highlighting a need for education. Since a bull contributes 50% of a calf's genetics, informed selection can significantly impact profitability. And the National Corn Growers Association kicked off its 61st annual yield contest yesterday, offering growers across the country a chance to compete, learn, and showcase their success. New this year, Class J nitrogen management, open to growers in all states. As the contest enters its 7th decade, it remains more than just a competition. It's a platform for discovery, a celebration for progress, and a symbol for collaborative spirit that powers American agriculture. Todd Mitchell, pitch hitting on the Dakota Farm and Ranch Report.
K-Fire, your ag authority.
Get ready as iHeartRadio teams up with the ultimate countdown king.
It's Rick Dees, and here's this week's #1 hit.
iHeartRadio and the Rick Dees Weekly Top 40 with 2 exclusive channels.
Catch this week's biggest hits as we count down to #1.
Listen to this week's biggest songs with Rick Dees and the Weekly Top 40.
Then you can hear all of my legendary countdowns from way back, all commercial free.
It's the soundtrack of your life.
Search me, Rick Dees, on your free iHeartRadio app and listen now.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have supervision, enhanced hearing, extraordinary reflexes, to be, dare we say, superhuman? Well, Roku's new Pro Series TV can't do any of that for you. But with a 4K screen, side-firing speakers, and a blazing fast refresh rate, it'll sure feel like it. Elevate your entertainment using all your favorite apps like iHeart and play all your music, radio, and podcasts with the new Roku Pro Series. Your senses aren't better. Your TV is.
K-Fire, your news authority.
Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. President Trump flying home after his Peace Through Commerce tour of 3 Arab Gulf states, over $3 trillion in U.S. investments, and a deal in Abu Dhabi to build a massive AI data center with U.S. chips and electronics.
It's all ultimately coming back to the U.S., and they'll be doing even bigger versions of this. This is a real pioneering thing, and so many good things are going to come out of AI.
The Secret Service investigating former FBI Director James Comey for a cryptic social media post he took down, shells in the sand forming the numbers 8647. President Trump tells Fox a child knows what that means. Kill Trump. A dozen reported tornadoes tore down trees and power lines from Minnesota to Illinois last night, and the roof of Diana Ogle's home in Juneau, Wisconsin.
When they say it sounds like a freight train line, it's like it was loud. I could feel the house.
America is listening to Fox News.
And now from North Dakota's news authority, Todd Mitchell, K-Fire Radio News.
Wind advisory in Bismarck till 7 o'clock tonight to the north, northwest, and west of Bismarck. A freeze watch tonight could get down to 29. Take steps to avoid sensitive plants from the cold if you can. And meanwhile, it's not going to warm up anytime real soon here. AccuWeather calling for 45 and wind gusting to 50 over the course of the afternoon. Breezy evening, but the sky clearing out, 38, partly sunny, 58 tomorrow. Sunday and Monday 53, Tuesday 49. Greenpeace officials disagree with the Dakota Access Pipeline ruling. The group is ordered to pay Energy Transfer some $667 million in damage from the 2016 and 17 protests. A Morton County jury handed down that sum, stating Greenpeace caused damage and published defamatory statements about the company. Greenpeace, one of a number of activist groups at the protest, their representatives argue the
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Looking for the best gun gear for every and any situation? Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where
AccuWeather forecast, damp, raw, and chilly today with occasional rain and drizzle. Windy, too, with a high of 46 and winds gusting past 45 miles an hour. Breezy tonight, otherwise becoming clear and chilly with the low down to 38. Partly sunny, milder on Saturday, the high up to 56. Breezy and cool Sunday with sun and clouds and a couple of afternoon showers, the high of 53. Mostly cloudy, couple of showers Monday, the high 52. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina.
I just passed this one along the, now I click away from it. Here we go. Outdoor warning signs. Sirens, in Bismarck are going to be tested Saturday and Monday, so you may hear some brief tones, not loud, of an individual siren at times. They're just doing some maintenance and testing, so if you happen to hear any of those sirens around Bismarck, don't panic. They're doing some testing. Now, if they're all going and they get loud, then there probably is something going on, but just individual ones, no, nothing to worry about. Bismarck at the moment, northwest wind 24, gusting to 41, pressure rising, humidity at 89%, light rain and 40. 8:39, more Clay, Guns in the 701 coming.
Get ready as iHeartRadio teams up with the ultimate countdown king.
It's Rick Dees, and here's this week's number one hit.
iHeartRadio and the Rick Dees Weekly Top 40 with 2 exclusive channels.
Catch this week's biggest hits as we count down to number one.
Listen to this week's biggest songs with Rick Dees and the Weekly Top 40.
Then you can hear all of my legendary countdowns from way back, all commercial free.
It's the soundtrack of your life.
Search me, Rick Dees, on your free iHeartRadio app and listen now.
With Chewy, get the food your pet loves delivered with AutoShip and never run out. Save 35% off your first AutoShip order and get an extra side of savings every order after that. Cancel whenever. For low prices, for life with pets. There's Chewy.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Keeping sewing. All Clean Air vacuums are on sale. The new Simplicity Clean Air bagless pad upright vacuum is just $179. The Riccar R25 Clean Air upright vacuum is engineered for clean. The super long stretch hose makes cleaning stairs a breeze. And talk about cleaning. It's great for picking up sand and pet hair. Save $100, now just $499. Get a $500 bonus with the purchase of a Riccar R40, the ultimate clean air and clean carpet vacuum. In the sewing department, all sewing machines are on sale too. Prices start at just $149 plus free owner's lessons. New fabric arriving weekly. Online at jrsecwfun.com, jrsewfun.com, and on the corner of 3rd and Main in Bismarck, J&R Vacuum and Sewing.
Get ready as iHeartRadio teams up with the ultimate countdown king.
It's Rick Dees, and here's this week's number one hit.
iHeartRadio and the Rick Dees Weekly Top 40 with 2 exclusive channels.
Catch this week's biggest hits as we count down to number one.
Listen to this week's biggest songs with Rick Dees and the Weekly Top 40.
Then you can hear all of my legendary countdowns from way back, all commercial free.
It's the soundtrack of your life.
Search me, Rick Dees, on your free iHeartRadio app and listen now.
I might be able to top iHeart in that I do have some tape of Rick Dees from back when he was in college, and he was Rig Dees, his name Rigdon Dees. The Rick came after that. He was a college kid in North Carolina.
Yeah, there you go.
So there. Now, don't ask me where the crate of cassettes is that I have that thing, but
cassette.
I did.
You're on the 8-track?
Hey, I got an 8-track player in my underneath my Wi-Fi router. There's an 8-track player. Nice little mixing technology there.
I have one in my slother yet, and it works.
Mine works too, but I didn't realize just how blah those cassettes sound. But when you play them in a modern stereo, you kind of realize, oh, yeah, these didn't really sound all that great. But then again, nothing did back then.
Yeah, it was pretty primitive compared to today, isn't it?
It was a different time and place. That's all. 100 years ago when K-Fire went on the air, it didn't have to sound pristine. It just had to be there.
There you go. There you go.
Well, because, I mean, what? Everybody sounded like that back then, and then things got better and better and better. And now we've got the iHeart app, and you can take us wherever you might happen to go.
Absolutely. You can find your show. You can find Guns in the 701 all on iHeart. Go check it out.
There you go. All right. So I got too many tabs open. You ever do that?
Yeah.
And then you can't find the one you're looking for. National Guardman accused of using Black Hawk helicopter to steal elk sheds from a Montana rancher. This sounds like a Montana, North Dakota kind of story, doesn't it?
Well, that's what I seen. I was like, you know what, this might be entertaining.
Yeah.
Granted, it violates a lot of things. Trespassing comes to mind on private property, but think about it. You got your guys out there from the Guard doing their, I imagine what they're doing is either moving equipment from one place to another, or they're out doing, training. That's what we want them to do, right? Our military.
Last I checked, yeah.
You see a Black Hawk helicopter or somebody, the landowner actually didn't see this. She was told about it, but you imagine watching and going, hey, I've had a Black Hawk go over our place. I suppose do it in their mission run training, but it lands in your pasture. That it might be different, right? Well,
don't go shooting it out of the sky just because it's on your land or over your land. But anyway.
Yeah, I might actually refrain from that. They got them GE guns on them, and you don't want those. They can either switch, I think it is, 600 rounds a minute or 1,200, or they may even be more now. So you probably don't want to try and light up a Black Hawk.
Yeah, probably not. Just a wild guess. Probably you'll lose that one, but anyway.
Yeah, it might not be a good day. But anyway, Linda McMullen, she had her neighbors alert her that all of a sudden, in the crazy mountain foothills, there was a aircraft presence. It happened to be a Black Hawk. The chopper was gray and black. Found out it's a UH-60L Black Hawk from the Montana Army National Guard. Wasn't scheduled, wasn't announced, and supposedly they were looking to get some elk sheds, I guess. Must have been flying pretty low to see elk sheds. But anyway.
I was going to say, well, wait a minute now. We got our darn good scopes. I mean, we could be way out in the sky and be able to pinpoint, our target. So if they can do that, they can find an elk shed in the middle of otherwise not
really
much.
Cool to fly that low and go searching for sheds. I mean, I can't think of a better way. Kind of an expensive way, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Along the ground.
Seems like kind of a waste of especially if it's taxpayer money.
Well, exactly. But, nobody thinks of that, right? Other people's money. Anyway.
Well, Elon, if you told Elon you're flying around Montana looking for sheds to steal, you might get to the top of the Doge line at that point.
A new Doge report, 1.7 million used in shed hunting across the Midwest.
You won't believe this, but I found $1.7 million was spent flying around Montana to steal elk sheds. I'm just making this up, folks. If you're just tuning on your radio right now, I just made that up. It's
I hope
fiction.
They were big sheds, because this might end up being a problem for them. But anyway, she actually reported to the Sweetgrass County Game Ward, which I probably wouldn't have done that. If anything, I'd have probably called my county sheriff. It's a trespass more than anything. But anyway.
Right.
And then, but Montana Fish and Wildlife Parks, they haven't filed any charges in the case yet, which some people probably yelling right now, how come they didn't take them to the cleaner? You still have to have burden of proof, and there has to be an investigation. So I'm not going to knock them on that very much. They said they did state that they would share any information as it becomes public to protect the sanctity of the investigation. Yeah.
Sanctity?
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting use too. And they're working with evidence and have not consulted the county attorney's office yet, which that you probably should at least probably do. Let your county attorney know, your state's attorney, that, hey, they've got something happening here. National Guard officials, they said that they're taking the incident under review. The aircraft allegedly landed. Well, okay, everything's allegedly. No, it was witnessed. In fact, McMullen, she's claiming that the National Guardsmen reached out to her directly to apologize. He's a lieutenant colonel, and said that they would meet up in person and bring back the antlers, adding that she had been asked also not to press charges. Well, that's interesting. You know, I imagine it's kind of what they are saying, that, you know, hey, they should have thought about what they were doing, and they know that they were just kind of messing around. It was bad judgment, things like that. That's kind of what's coming out of this thing, and I get that. Again, you know, if you're a private property owner, this is actually a trespass problem, especially when you see a military helicopter land on your land. Probably not the smartest thing to do. Yeah, allegedly. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. I myself don't expect to see any charges brought, but who knows? Who knows?
Just remember, if 50 cops are in a bank watching a guy rob it, the second he gets out of the building, he allegedly robbed that bank.
Yeah, allegedly, you know, due process.
Yeah.
Which we need to have. Everyone's supposedly presumed innocent until proven guilty, which is a good precedent. I'd hate to have it the other way. But
well, of course, but if a helicopter lands, then it lands. It doesn't allegedly land. If it lands, it lands.
And it's quite noticeable.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been around a black.
Most of us, even if we had huge tracts of land and suddenly there was a helicopter on, we might notice it if we gaze off into the distance in that direction. Just saying.
And not just that, you're going to hear them. You know, they have done, like I said, I imagine it's just training missions, but I've seen them come across here, you know, in the last couple of years, because I know they changed this whole area for training, which is, it's kind of cool to see them, but you hear them coming for a long ways. And then you look up and go, a Blackhawk going over the top of us, cool. But it didn't land in my pasture. In all honesty.
Oh, maybe it's one of those stealth Blackhawk.
Oh, yeah.
You don't hear it.
Right,
it's an EV, you know, they run real quiet.
To be honest, Todd, if I saw one going to land, or if I saw one and I could actually see the guys, I'd probably ask them to. Because I think the Blackhawk is one of the coolest machines we've actually made for our military. I'd love to see it. I mean, it'd be great.
Oh, sure.
I'd go up there and say, hey, guys, what you up to? This is awesome.
Oh, buy your own there, Clay. You're made of money. Come on.
Yeah, I'd have to mortgage the place and still take out more money.
You can't take the money with you when you go. You might as well spend it here.
Yeah, might as well have a Blackhawk. I can't fly because I don't know how.
You know, I hear you can get lessons on that. They teach people.
Yeah, the thing is, they wouldn't give me the guns with it. I don't want it without the cool guns they got.
Well, come on now. You said that Blackhawk. You didn't say anything about guns. You have your own guns, don't you?
It's like going into a dealership to buy a car. Oh, well, you just bought the base model. Here's all the accessories, and now it's double what we told you.
Which does not happen at Schwann Buick GMC Cadillac Hummer EV on the Strip in Mandan.
Give me these great leads.
8:52 at K-Fire. One more because we got to get this one in. Donut shop worker turns the tables.
Yeah.
Love it.
I seen this. I was like, oh, my goodness. Yeah, down in Houston, Texas, of course, right? Everything. Texas, Florida. It seems like they love their self-defense down there more than any place. Yeah. So you think about it. Guy goes into the donut shop, a bakery. They're kind of early in the morning, right? Then who would have thought that that'd be a place to end up dead? Well, an armed man, he'd come in just stormed into it the way it sounded when I looked up some of the other stuff on this. And I think that, he was looking at going, this will be an easy gig, right? In and out, be gone. Well, you're in Texas. I mean, the librarians probably carry in Texas. I don't know. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but they have silencers because you got to keep it quiet.
That's right. They got suppressors. They have to pay $200 a tax stamp. The guy behind the counter, he wasn't just baking. Yep, he was carrying. Yep, go figure. By the time the police arrived, the robber was dead. He had assumed room temperature on the floor, and the cash register was open. And one legally armed employee probably saved a few lives. That's probably true. I mean, if the guy comes in there armed, ready to rob you for a few bucks. I mean, I don't know about you, Todd, but anybody out there that thinks about this, probably robbing a donut shop that maybe has $150, $200 cash in the register. Ask yourself, is that worth your life? Because I don't see it. I mean, I don't think that's worth your own life myself, but hey.
And now you know how they put the holes in the donuts.
I was just going to say, he got his own donut hole, didn't he? He was stopped. He's no longer assuming and breathing air, and we got one less criminal off of the street. So, hats off to him, and it's a great story about why everybody, if you feel like you're in an area, you need to defend yourself. Do it right, and carry. This guy, he's probably saved his own life and probably saved others, and it just shows that the Second Amendment's a very, very valuable tool we have. So,
goes to the 701. Don't forget Wednesday nights,
and I think we got a good show lined up again for you. There's plenty going on. I imagine we're going to talk about the suppressors and what's happening with that, because it's right up in front and center stage right now. Be sure you call your reps, call your senators, tell them you support the removal of suppressors off of the NFA, and that you don't want a fee at all. And this $5 thing from $200 is better, but it's still not correct.
Clay, you've never come on here once and said, we got a terrible show coming up on Wednesday night. You might want to check it out. Just saying.
I can tell you this, Todd. I've had some days where I wonder, because I do the show and then go rewatch it. Well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Tune in, guys. iHeart, it'll all be loaded up here. You can check out Wednesday's show with Jamie and Leon from last Wednesday. All there on the iHeart app, and keep listening. We appreciate it.
All right. Clay, Guns of the 701 Fridays here. Mitchell in the morning on K-Fire. Thanks, Clay. Have a good weekend.
Yep. Thanks, Todd. Have a good one.
You too. 8:55. Eugene Saylor of Zap is 90 today. The big 9-0. Ty Bauman of Golden Valley, 29. Brendan Stern of Hazen will be 13 tomorrow. Corey and Medora Wetzel celebrating a 5th anniversary today. Cheryl Schumacher of Minokan is 75 today. Joel Newmiller of Washburn coming up on Sunday with a 40.